What it do, homie? So we out here with some random chapter 9 story themes, right? I kind of got sad that there was no more boss themes to react to. And I want to say no more. I just mean like I feel like I got to all the like really popular ones that most people were requesting down in the comments. So here we are right here. I think naturally the next step will be obviously more Millie songs and which we would do, right? I'm still about the copyright, but I might just say skip the copyright and just put out a bunch of them. And then Library of Ruina, right? I saw that there were two songs, Ronald and Angela, that you guys wanted me to check out. The Ronald one, if I had the one correctly, was like a 9-minute song, if that was the correct one, and then the Angela one. So we'll see if we can put those out if there's enough interest. Right now, let's go ahead, shut up, turn it up. There's that uppity sound. Hi, God. I already know what's going on right here. Now, I understand that these are story themes. These are just songs that's kind of just playing. This is definitely dialogue music for sure. I should pull up some random dialogue and just speak over this. Let me see if I can find some. I feel like that would be very entertaining. Unless the song evolves into something else. The simplest thing would be to tear it down, the man said. The house is a shambles. She took this news as a blood rush in the ears, a roar of peasant ancestors with rocks in their fist, facing the evictor. But this man was a contractor. Willa had called him here, and she could send him away. She waited out her panic while he stood looking at her shambles, appearing to nurse some satisfaction from his diagnosis. She picked out words. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop while I'm behind. Yeah, see, like songs like this, while they are nice to listen to, there's not much going on. This is why I was kind of hesitant about doing reactions to them. You know, I could pick out what I can, but I feel like these are just meant to be background noises. You know what I mean? I mean, we still got 2 other songs to react to, but you know. That's a lot of dead bodies back there, bruh. Bro. That's a lot of blood. Jeez. What do you call this instrument? Harpsichord? Harpsichord. Okay. Not bad. Like I said, there's story themes, you know, the type of stuff that's playing. I think it's kind of stuff that's playing in kind of like a overworld type of stuff. So, all right, let's move on. We got thumbs down, right? Let's keep it going. Wild West. You know, I did a quick search on the Call New Index, right? And it stated the theme reflects the eerie and mechanical nature of the index, one of the fingers ruling the city known for following strict, divinely inspired orders called prescripts, right? So strict, divinely, like you kind of think about the old days, you know what I'm saying, like old British days, if you will. Everybody kind of like the wigs, and everybody had a proper way of dressing themselves and everything. Actually, that's just Anyways, not necessarily just British, but proper way of doing things, the right way. Now everybody's, more expressive and stuff. But back then, really strict. So that makes sense with the music. Okay. Oh wait. No, what? Well, see, I'm getting confused. Anyways, back to this. Western vibes. Thumbs down. So my search here is telling me that this is a battle theme, right? Doesn't say that down here in the description, right? Story theme. This is a battle theme. So you're actually fighting somebody during this. I can't imagine that. I guess I might need to look at some battle scenes because this doesn't sound very hype. They all don't have to be hype, but I would expect at least a sense of epicness to it or something like that. This also says that the Thumb's rigid obsession with rank and respect. If I'm going to take Wild West kind of vibes from this, rank and respect. You guys think that's more old timely kind of talk? You're going to respect me, boy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll go get me, old timely talk. I'm talking, for some reason, I just kind of think of an old head, not necessarily an old head, probably a mid-man's on some Clint Eastwood kind of vibes and everything that just goes around and just demands his respect. And if you don't give it to him, rough around the edges, you feel lucky. You know what I'm saying? That I can see that. Instrument that's playing in the background, that sounds like something you would hear like a speakeasy. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be as prominent. It would kind of just come in every now and then, which I guess is kind of how it's doing right now. But the sounds that we're listening to right now wouldn't be as upfront. It'd be more smooth. You know what I'm saying? More bass, guitar, and everything. So it's a lot of competing stuff going on in here. It's just crazy that this is a battle theme. Yeah, that's crazy. This it almost kind of sounds like something I would hear on Final Fantasy VII when running into why am I forgetting the name of the organization? Wow, it's been a while something. But you know what I'm saying? Running into them in this dialogue or Legend of Dragoon, right? For all my goated people out there, if you know that song, we 100. But you know what, man, I might do some reactions to some old PlayStation 1 games. Oh, their soundtracks are bangers. I just thought about that. Okay. Anyways, got Legend of Dragoon. All right, we're getting ahead of ourselves. All right, we're moving on. I just thought about that. All right, cool. We're moving on. San Zunokawa, right? Let me go ahead and copy this right here, and let's go ahead and shut up, turn it up. Pinky, nurse father. Okay. We know about this. That was amazing. Oh my goodness, bro. I love it whenever I'm listening to something and it has like crazy kind of sound effects, but then there are sudden jumps, right? And I feel like it could go wrong. Like it can. If you're sound designing and you do want to tell a story and you do have those sudden abrupt things, it can go terribly wrong because you do want to give the listener the sense that something's wrong, right? But you don't want to shift worlds. You don't want to shift perceptions too much, if that makes sense. If you're going to give it that, it still needs to have a sense of familiarity, but it can have a little bit of like randomness, but it can't be too much randomness, right? It's kind of like having deja vu. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing to have deja vu of a cat walking across your path, right? And then like, yo, I've seen this before. Crazy. That would, you know what I'm saying? But seeing a meteor come out of nowhere, you know what I mean? That's too random. You just like, wait a minute, hold on. You're tripping, you know what I'm talking about? So, and they did that very well because even though we have this nice little somber doom 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 flute playing and everything, there's a lot of craziness coming on from the background, but it almost kind of sounds like something's emerging. But then when you cut it off, that's what gives you that sense of just, things getting back, kind of like the freaking Mortal Kombat tournament, right? The world's emerging depending on, the first movie. God, that movie was so bad, it was so good. Come bow at my feet. No, that was Annihilation, but anyways. So good, so good. All right, let's keep it moving. That's crazy. It's like changing channels. Yeah. Aria. It's like shifts in memories, right? That also kind of feels like memories are being shifted where you're just in two different, like, bunch of places at the same time. I bet you could feel that way whenever you're kind of going through like traumatic experience, when you overcome a traumatic experience, that sometimes triggers can come in and kind of just warp your brain in some way. Like you could be in the most fantastic part of your life, having a very, very good time, and this will just snap you out of it real quick and then bring you back to reality, right? And since we know that this is about freaking Ryoshu, right, and her daughter, and I know the story of that. That makes sense, right? That singing it, memories of a better time before Ryoshu had to do what it did. Ryoshu. It's rapidly. Oh. I'm gonna look up this word, Sanzunokawa. Three World River, in reference to Buddhist ideas about realms of existence in a mythological river. Look at this, y'all. Some interesting stuff right here. So they've taken, I mean, generally, you know, that's kind of like, you know, whenever you're world building, sometimes you will take on from, you know, real world concepts, you know what I mean? And then make it into a game and stretch it and twist it however you like. Before reaching afterlife, the souls of the deceased must cross the river by one of three crossing points. The weight of one's offenses while alive determines which path an individual must take. It is believed that a total of 6 mon was paid crosses. Yeah. This is kind of like the river that you got to cross, right? In what was it, Greek mythology? The sins of Ryoshu, right? And what she had to do to protect her daughter, right? That's interesting. You know what? This whole entire thing, the Sanzu River, I might have to go back and read into this, but I feel like I'm getting a little bit too off track. Again, this was kind of more of like a freestyle kind of video. You know, I know it's kind of different from what I did outside, but I'm actually just kind of lost about where to go next when it comes to Limbus Company stuff. I think we will dive into the Library of Runia. Y'all just let me know what to check out. But I think we're going to start with the Ronald song. I do have that queued up. But let me know that. Let me know. All right. Dave's out.